Greetings and a warm welcome to the third Natural Sciences episode of At the Chalk Face. I'm Pamela Ngobo. Today we'll be exploring the meaning of scientific investigation, and we'll be visiting Mr. Isaacs at Liba Primary School in Lenasia. But before we do that, we'll speak to Poha Mahuana from Protec to tell us a little bit more about this topic.
When you notice any sort of children playing, you'll notice that they are in the process of investigating whatever the properties of whatever they're playing with. The only difference is that they are not scientific about it. They are not rigorous about what they're testing, but they will be able to define, for instance, that a piece of plasticine can be shaped in any direction that they would like to take.
Look at these children playing. They are exploring their world. They are finding out how things work. They're exploring concepts like up and down, high places and danger. When they pick up objects, they find out how strong or weak materials are, or how they can use them as tools. In their own way, these children are scientists. But there's a big difference between them and what we think of as scientific investigation. In science, we plan our investigation and we use specific procedures. This is what we emphasize in the natural sciences learning area. How do we ensure that the learners are taught the process of scientific investigation?
By looking at the revised national curriculum statements, that provides us with guidelines in order to determine what has to be learned in the natural sciences and what has to be taught to the learners. The learning outcomes are defined, and from there the process skills which involve investigation are outlined as well, and that helps us with the teaching of investigations in science. The process skills include observation, measurement, evaluation, making conclusions, and interpretation.
In our previous lesson, we spoke about materials, right? And now I would like to find out from you, if you can give me a few examples of materials that we have spoken about in the past.
Leather, cotton, polyester, wool.
Materials are not only the fabric we use to make clothing with. That is called fabric, the material we use to make clothing with. But other materials, like if we look at the desk you're sitting at, what type of material was used to make this desk?
Made out of plastic, iron.
Now you're getting the idea what material is all about.
Let's say Mr. Isaacs helped develop his learner's ability to conduct a scientific investigation.
In our resource corner, we've got materials that we're going to use to strengthen paper, right? But now, in your groups, discuss different ways how we can strengthen that paper, okay?
Firstly, the learners will formulate a statement or a question to be answered by conducting a scientific investigation. Once they have the question, they will plan how to carry out the investigation. When happy with the plan, they will conduct experiments according to the plan. They will then record results and then communicate the results of the investigation.
Our question for investigation. We're going to investigate how to strengthen paper. But what I would like to get from you is, if any of you can come up with ideas how we can strengthen the paper.
By rolling it, folding it, by squashing it. So you can get the strength of the paper by rolling it, and two people must stand on the side and they must pull it and the paper won't break.
I'm intrigued about how the learners are encouraged to contribute to the process of investigation. Are their ideas correct?
Sometimes the learners' ideas are not necessarily correct. but they are a start so that we would get to know what they're thinking, and then we can develop whatever they're thinking, knowing what they know.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give each group a paper, and you're going to work out plans on how you're going to strengthen your material, your paper, okay? And also how you're going to test that paper. And that person writes on everything, and then somebody else reads what you have done.
Mr. Isaac, why did you not give the learners a plan of what to do?
With science, since it's an investigation, they have to work out the plan themselves, since it's about finding out. So they have to work. We have process that we go through. So the beginning of the process is the planning stage, and they have to work out a plan. And then from the planning stage, we go to the investigation or experiment stage, and then from there we go to the finding, and then after that they give their results. So that is why I can't give them a plan. They have to come up with them. You see, if I don't give them a plan, it's quite interesting to see the type of plans they come up with, you see. And in that way, even we as educators also learn from them, because there are certain things that you never think about, and they come up with that in their plans.
See what Mr. Isaacs is doing. He first listens to the learner's plans, and then facilitates further development of the plans. This helps develop the learner's confidence.
I want to listen to how you have planned your experiment, right? How you have planned it. Now this group, can you give us your explanation?
We are going to show how we are going to stretch a newspaper by rolling it and two people standing on the side and holding it. And that's how we will test it 12 times.
Okay. So that's the 12 times. Very good. Can you all see how tough is the paper? They can't tear it and they're both pulling. So how did you roll the newspaper? Was it one page that you rolled?
Maybe we'll put one inside and put the other one over.
We were supposed to be planning. So did you include that in your plan?
But we never wrote it down.
Let's have a look at this group.
You can roll the paper till the end of the page and then you make it into small pieces.
Can you explain to us how you folded it?
So like you fold it till the end of the page, then you start folding sideways and then till it becomes very small.
And just show us using one page how you've done it.
I mean like this here, so it's stronger.
Very good. To show the rest of the groups. Can we tear that page? No. As it's folded there. You see, that's one way how they strengthen their paper, right? Now we have completed our planning. Now we are going to move on to the next stage, and that is the experiment. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to the resource center. I'll get some resources for us, and we are going to do an experiment on how to strengthen the newspaper that I'm going to give you. Okay? And you make a note of it, right? Write it down until you have finished. The others are busy with bridges, right? So you are also going to do a bridge for us. Can we use our desk? The same way you're building this, but you have it in strips. And let's see how far we can get. But don't forget, one of you must write down every step that you are doing. Right?
We've seen the teacher systematically building up to this moment. He posed a question of investigation. He allowed them to develop their own plans, but assisted them in designing a template for recording plans and observations.
All your steps. and your results of each step. You record that for us, okay? Right. We're going, alright, so, yeah. Now what must you do? Let's strengthen it. It's not yet strong, so let's strengthen it. Now we have to, okay, let's see something. Rolling.
Yes, sir.
Who wants to tell me how they've done this? Okay, I see there's a number of hands, but now I can't listen to everybody at the same time. So I've got an idea. What we're going to do, we're going to write down our findings, how we went about it. Okay? How we started. So we're going to have an evaluation report. Alright? So we're going to write down everything we've done step by step, and then each group will have a chance to come to the front, do their presentation, and then everybody will know how we went about doing our experiments, how we went about finding out how to strengthen paper. Right. Who can tell me how we're going to do the presentation? Who wants to give me an idea what you're going to do about the presentation? Or are you going to explain to us?
I have no idea.
You have no idea, man. Okay. Can you tell?
We must write down about it, how you made it, and everything step by step. So you must write down all the things that you used to make the bridge.
Right. Now what was the first thing we did? What was the very first thing we did?
First plan.
We planned. That's step one. So you're going to tell us how you planned. And then after we planned, what did we do?
We done our assignment.
Or we start with our experiment. Am I right?
Yes.
Once we made our bridge stronger, our bridge was nice and strong, what was the final thing we done?
We tested.
So what I would like you to do now is to follow the steps that we have done in our investigation, but you are going to do it on a chart form.
The presentation needs to show the question being investigated. It must indicate how each group planned to go about it. It must tell what each group did and how it collected data or took measurements. Then the results and conclusion must be shown.
Under the following headings, first your question, the first heading is your planning, how you did your planning. The experiment, how you did your experiment. Okay? And your finding, what was the result?
How many squares?
Don't waste too much time with the printing. The results, what happened?
How important is evaluation as an aspect of the process?
And in scientific investigation, you have to be able to reflect on what you've done and say, how could I do this better? Where did it go wrong? We're all human beings, and we need to be able to sit down and say, what did I learn from this?
Can you come and do your presentation first, please? You must pay attention. They're going to do their presentation, and you must evaluate their presentation, okay? You must tell us how well they have done it, okay?
Planning. We put 10 papers. We put the papers down. We put 2 bricks above and below. Then we put the paper in between so that it looked like a bridge. Experiment. It did for a fell down after it fell. We stretched the paper and so we put the oranges.
We discovered how to strengthen paper and that paper can carry heavy objects.
This is the brick, this is the 2 oranges, and that is the paper.
I was very impressed with all the presentations that we've done in front of the class. And now what we're going to have to do now is we're going to make sure that that presentation goes to the portfolios. Right? We'll have to put it in our portfolios. Okay? And then we'll compare to our following experiment we do. Alright? Okay, thank you, class. That was wonderful.
It's very interesting to see Mr. Isaacs take his class through a scientific investigation process. It's also very interesting to see how he moves systematically from a question of planning, investigating, conducting, communicating, and evaluating. I hope you found this lesson as informative and as valuable as I did. Until next time, bye.